Well, we want to get x by itself, just like before. We always want x by itself on one side of the equation. But the first thing that we have to face the fact is we're doing an algebra problem. And as a new student doing algebra, we may be scared out of our minds. And so I'd like to deal with the psychological fact here that the problem is very easy, but sometimes the words scare people. So this is called a linear equation, and I have a shark and a dinosaur up here just to kind of make fun of the fact that we as algebra students tend to be scared out of our minds sometimes just by these words. And so I'm here to tell you, I'm here to relieve you, give you tremendously good news, and that is that you don't have to know any of these words in algebra. You can, right now, ignore all of them. I know it's hard to believe. So the first hump, look at me down here on the camel. I'm drawing a little mark over the first hump. The first hump in algebra is just getting over the fact that you can ignore these big, scary words. All you need to know how to do is work the problems. So up in the top, I have the great word shark. Get it? The great word shark. And the scary Tyrannosaurus Rex. They're here to make fun of the fact that we don't have to worry about these words. We can ignore them completely. I know that's good news for you. And so the second hump, if you look down here at the camel, Mr. Camel, the second hump is just to learn how to do the little problems. And that's what we have Fluffy Piggy here for. Fluffy Piggy says, just do the math problems. That's all you have to know. So here we go. When we see a problem like this with just x and some numbers in there on both sides of a little equation, what we want to do is get x by itself on one side. And that's all you have to know. So I'm going to rewrite this problem here as -2 times x equals -8. Okay? And I want to get rid of this -2 on the left side that's with the x, because I want x by itself. And I can do anything I want to any equation as long as I do it to both sides. So I could add something to both sides. I could subtract something from both sides. I could multiply both sides by a number, or I could divide both sides by a number. And in this case, I'm going to choose to divide both sides of this equation by -2. So I chose that. That was my choice. And why did I do that? Because I know that anything divided by itself is 1. So this -2 divided by -2, that simplifies to 1. So I'm just going to move that down here. That whole thing just simplifies to 1. The number 1. That's our favorite number, right? And then the x stays the same, so I'm just going to bring it down. 1 times x is equal to, boy, what's all this right here? -8 divided by -2. Well, that's 4. Okay. The negative and the negative cancel, right? It's like saying -1 over -1. But -8 divided by -2 is 4, so 1x equals 4. And another way to say that is simply x equals 4. And that is our solution. Ooh. And I'm just going to check. I'm going to plug this into the original equation and make sure that it's true just as a check. So here I'm going to bring this original equation down and I'm going to rewrite it. But I'm going to plug in x equals 4 instead of the x. So I'm going to rewrite -2 times x. But in this case, x is the 4, right? We solved -2 times 4 equals, and then -8. So is that true? Yes, because -2 times 4 is the same as -8 is equal to -8. So because this is true, we now know that our solution of x equals 4 is correct. So I'm going to give us an A+.
Thumbs up and subscribe. For more videos like this, check out algebravideos.com.